So once again, very good afternoon to everyone. My name is Yogesh and I work here as a global investment strategist. Today we are going to talk about global thematic investment opportunities, and this is something which is a very interesting topic. Um, it has been talked of about decades and decades, and it's not something very new, but the very essence of this topic, because it is based on investing in mega trends, investing in the future, is what keeps this particular topic very happening and reviving and very innovative. So today we are going to talk a lot about this. Before we proceed any further, you have a chat option enabled next to your session, and I'm sure a lot of you will have a lot of questions about this or about your regular trading and investment opportunities. Uh, I'm more than happy to answer all these questions. Please do keep writing on the chat, and if you can hear me properly, if you can see my presentation, please write a yes or okay, so at least I'm sure that my voice is audible and there is no network congestion and I can proceed further. All right, perfect. See, most of you can hear me properly. Okay, that's great. Perfect. So I'm getting majority of people that said yes, so I'm assuming that um, my voice is audible. In case if you feel any disruption or if you're not able to attend the session for today, this will be uploaded on YouTube later on, and you can always go through the session once again. But one benefit if you which you get of attending this today is you can ask your questions live, and if there is something which I'm not able to answer, I'll definitely a dedicated relationship manager from my end will reach you out and answer your questions. So, starting again with the thematic investing, what it is and why every now and then we keep hearing about investing into specific themes or investing into sustainability, or if you see Joe Biden, who's US president, has injected a massive stimulus in the upliftment of clean energy and green energy. And that is just one very element of thematic investing. Like how renewable energy is, there are so many investment themes. So basically, when we talk about thematic investing, we are talking about uh, where you are investing into a certain theme or a certain concept. Like, for example, if I say clean energy is a concept, so if you start investing in most of the companies which are associated with generation of clean energy or using battery cars or using sustainable forms to keep the environment clean, all those sectors are different, but it gets combined under one specific theme, which is clean energy. And that is what thematic investing is all about. We are talking about investing in a basket of theme where dedicated all these companies where you've invested are dedicated to one theme. So if I feel that there is not enough clean water available for everyone to drink, and there is a basket which exists and says clean water basket, it will have those companies which are working towards the purification of water, towards the distribution of water, and other services related to water. So when you invest into the theme, when you invest into a basket, your money is automatically allocated into several companies which are very much concerned with one theme. And we are going to discuss this further today. I'm going to show you the live platform, and I'm going to show you baskets because we go all through that. Thematic investing, it often invests in baskets of stocks to take advantage of sectors of the economy, and they expect to do well over their investment horizon because they're focusing on healthcare, they're focusing on energy trends. So they're basically focusing on a specific investment trend. So we all know that this world is undergoing uh, through a structural change as we speak. And there's a lot of economic change as we speak. And it is happening at a very faster pace because now, if you see the technological breakthroughs and all these scientific discoveries, it used to take decades to do all these kind of discoveries, but now this happens in years. And when we talk about climate change, which is causing a lot of concern around the globe, so a lot of people have started talking about it. Now, this is again, it's an industrial revolution which is a level higher than what we saw back in the past, and there are a lot of people who are constantly moving towards the priorities of the consumers now has also moved towards shaping or transforming the global investment landscape as well. So when we talk about the consumer priorities, a lot of us we are thinking about environment, we are talking about sustainability, and that is what a lot of investors have highlighted and invested into. So there can be a lot of benefits also when you are investing into theme-based funds, and there are few characteristics. So following the presentation here, if you see, why would you invest into thematics? Once again, I'm getting something over the chat. A few people may not be able to hear me. Just try taking your headphones off if the audio is not proper, and maybe if you hear hands free, it might be okay. I think it's just a internet congestion, nothing else, and I hope everybody else is able to hear me and see the presentation properly. That's why I'm saying keep answering questions and keep saying something so I would remember that you're there. Now, why would you invest in thematics? So we are looking at, of course, three or four specific areas that why this has been, why the appetite of investors have now grown over investing into specific themes. First, very important thing, innovation. You can invest today, but you also know that a lot of times what you're investing in today, the future might be completely different for the thing which you're. Let's take example of. Okay, tell me. Let's make this a bit more interactive. What do you think is one skill which you feel that you would have acquired when you were in school? Think very hard about this. It's a very important question. I'm not saying you're not skilled for today, but I'm saying there could be one skill which you feel, oh, if I knew that, you know, uh, I would have been greatly benefited. What do you think that skill is? It could be anything. I mean, anything. It depends absolutely on you. But just tell me. Could be singing, dancing, could be Excel, could be anything. What do you think? Think very hard and then write your answer. Go ahead, guys. What do you think? That one skill which you feel if you had, it would make a lot of sense now. Okay, okay, okay. So I'm getting different answers, and these are very interesting answers, I see, because, um, okay, some of them said cooking. I think maybe lockdown brought that on you. So I'm sure a lot of cooking skills have been identified, but it's really important. It's really important because let me tell you a data. People, I was reading somewhere that 50 to 60% of people have, during the lockdowns, have learned something new which is not their work area, and it's actually a different work skill. Because what people realized in the lockdowns that whatever they were doing was not enough to earn bread and butter once there is a complete shutdown and they cannot go out, which means the current skill is not useful and they should have known something else and they started learning that new skill. That is all futuristic thinking about. I will tell you today, I really wish that back in school or back in college, I would have learned about coding, because today the impact which coding has on businesses, today every person anyone who can develop an app becomes, and if the app is worthy enough, it becomes a millionaire or a billionaire. You see, whether it is about Snapchat or whether it is about Uber or Lyft, see how revolutionary these apps have been. And it is all, if you know coding, if you know development of how to develop an app. So I really feel that if I had that skill back in school, obviously today the demand for that skill is way higher. In the similar manner, what is going to be needed in the next 15 years or next 20 years? You start investing into those things, and those are called mega trends, right? So you have to be more innovative when you're investing. You cannot be investing in just the normal companies which are of today. You have to think about the future. Second thing is access. Now, because of thematics, you get an access to some of the mega trends which are emerging now. And when you start investing into it, maybe in the future, they become more in demand and you will see investment pricing. And then, of course, there is a quality. So, all these thematic funds which are designed by these companies, they capture those companies which are poised for long term growth across sectors. So, when you're investing into a renewable energy basket or a water purification basket, uh, when these baskets are prepared, it is at least made sure that the companies which are in the basket, they are expected to perform better in the longer terms. The research is done in the similar way. So these are two or three reasons which can tell you why to invest in thematics. Again, at the same time, there are a lot of benefits because, first of all, as I said, you get exposure to long-term structural trends, and then it kind of saves you because if you see, there are a lot of themes which can be quantified, it can be analyzed, and it can be managed. And you can have exposure in all of those themes which can actually be analyzed and managed, and it can be quantified also. And I'll give you some examples as well, because what happens is now let's focus on um, what kind of themes we can actually look into, because I've used the word theme a lot, and these are just few themes which I'm showing it to you. I will definitely switch on my platform and show you a few more themes which are available in this. First, for now, uh, few trends which are expected to continue over the next few years. Something which is related to DNA sequencing. We also call it genomic studies, and there are a lot of genomic funds. Genomic means where the doctors, the healthcare professionals, they study the genes of a particular individual to identify whether an individual is exposed to any kind of diseases or virus. And gene study is a very emerging area. A lot of money and technology has been put into it. And there are companies which are associated with genomics for DNA sequencing. So this is poised for a medical breakthrough. Now, this is just one bit. This is just one area of that medical technology. Tell me what happened in COVID. Hospitals would not just allow you to come, even if you have something, as something as small as a fever or anything. So how the shape of the medical industry changed? Remote consultation, medical technology. You could connect to a doctor online, and he will ask you several questions and will provide you medical consultation 24/7. A company which is called Teladoc actually provided their revenue went way higher during the pandemic because they had a team of medical professionals which would provide medical consultation 24/7. Now, that is something which is again futuristic because uh, although we are of the idea that soon this virus will be over, but tell me honestly, how many of you feel that you don't have to wear the mask later on in the future? Mask is going to be a part of your fashion in the next 10 years. It will take more than a decade for us to be completely out and about and feel safe and not wear a mask or not use a sanitizer. That's the hard truth, right? So when we are talking about medical consultation, remote medical consultation, we are talking about digital health data. How many of you have Fitbits or connected, collected your health data digitally, because it is much easier to have, rather than to have files, than to collect your digital health data. You can count your steps, you can see that how much you have walked today, how much is your blood pressure, everything. So there are companies which are providing you facilities for digital health data. Then comes electric vehicles. We all have seen in the pandemic how companies like Teslas and Build Your Dreams and Neo, all these clean energy automation based companies, they went up during the pandemic. In fact, the popular argument was why companies like Tesla are going up, because who's buying cars in pandemic, right? But the point was because it was expected, the president shift was expected, and the new president, which is a Democrat, who was very keen towards investing in renewable sources of energy. We saw a lot of increase in the renewables. We have saw a lot of increase in companies like Tesla and their stock prices and their production, and in their batteries, the efficiency of their batteries. You'll be surprised to know that companies like Toyota are also expected to come with electric vehicles by the end of this year, and their batteries are supposed to be 50% less inflammable as compared to an ordinary electric vehicle. So if you think you have missed your chance of investing in Tesla because it's too high, you can always look for better alternatives like Toyota also. Sorry. Now, followed by one more trend which has been going on, digital payment. How many of you, if you check your wallet right now, you will get a credit card or debit card which says MasterCard or Visa? Almost everyone, almost irrespective of your bank balance, you have a plastic card which says MasterCard or Visa. That is the truth of the industry. Digital payment. If you have your phone, you have Apple Pay. In India, you have Google Pay. You have the digital payment system, the Paytm. Beam here in Dubai, a lot of devices use. Digital payment is something which is increasing, and there is a lot of market share which is still available for the digital payments to capture. So this is something. You tell me one company, uh, and I think you can guess it because I've already taken its name. In financials, one of the highest market cap a company has, it's called JP Morgan. They have a market cap of around $300 billion. It's one of the best companies in the financial services. Which is a company within financial services which has a higher market cap than JP Morgan, given the stock price and given the size and given what the company does? Do you know which company it is with the highest market cap, higher market cap than JP Morgan in the similar area? And this has actually happened off lately. When you see the sizes of both the companies, it was not the case. JP Morgan was way on top. I think there are different answers coming in. Okay. Okay. I think one of you is correct. It's Visa. Visa has a market cap of $500 billion, which is higher than, so you're very close. Somebody said MasterCard, but it's Visa. It's very close. $500 billion of market capitalization, which is higher than JP Morgan. So a lot of people invest into Visa. And then you talk about digital payment companies like PayPal, Square Payment, right? These are some companies like PayPal have openly spoken about accepting bitcoins and cryptocurrencies. So there is a lot going on in the digital payment sector, and if you are not inclined towards it, if this is not a part of your portfolio, then probably in the few years this area is expected to go higher. It is one of those situations where you thought that I don't want to take C++ or computers in my school because it's boring, and I want to be an engineer, so I'm going to take maths or something like that. Engineers and doctors, engineers and doctors. And what happened now? People are making content on YouTube and earning money over it. People are developing apps, and apps, dating apps, healthcare apps, gaming apps. Like somebody created Candy Crush, and even a lot of professionals are playing Candy Crush at work. The best example, one app which has I should say, in a fun way, an app which has destroyed a generation before, a current generation, and the generation after. All of you must have heard about PUBG. From the elder person who is a professional to a person in college to a kid who is in school, everybody is connected and playing that war game, PUBG. And it was developed by a company called Tencent. So it's an app which creates a trend. So the point I'm trying to make is these are the mega trends which are going on now, and this is something which is a lot futuristic. You won't see many people talking about it, and that's why I did an exclusive webinar to only stress on not what is happening right now, but what is expected as a mega trend to happen in future. Again, companies related to wind capacity, solar energy, semiconductors, and we should not forget one thing which has derived the economy from place X to the power 100. The development of internet was the single most important change, how which actually created a massive shift in mentality, in technology, in content. Internet is actually a foundation for a lot of things. Today, if there's no internet, the world will fall apart. I am talking to you through internet. While you are listening to my session, I'm sure one of you is at least on your phone doing something, either on Instagram, WhatsApp. Internet is the core of the entire success of where the world has been. The medical breakthroughs, the technology, if it wasn't for internet, we would be decades late in where we are. Now imagine with such massive use of internet, wouldn't there be so much traffic in using it? Imagine a company which is working solely towards reducing the speed of the internet traffic, or which is working towards reducing the congestion or reducing the internet traffic. Those companies are called next generation companies, and those next generation companies are into a fund called Next Generation Fund, which is available on different platforms, and I'll show you how it's doing. So these are a few themes, and let me tell you, and like the themes which I talked about, there are a lot of themes which are currently going on, and let me take a few names so you will realize. Uh, Note it down if you have a notepad like this. I have a notepad. If you have your notepad, please write it down. Cybersecurity is one such theme. I'm not going to repeat this, so if you want, you can write it down and you can do more research, or talk to us and our expert consultants, and we'll provide you those companies. Cybersecurity is one such theme which is emerging. Robotics and artificial intelligence is another theme. Talk about digital economy, what we just discussed about. Fintech innovation, financial technology innovation. Now, that is again one mega trend which has been going on. There are a lot of fintech related funds which have come across. Talk about next generation internet innovation. I just talked about next generation that actually increase the speed, reduce the speed of, they reduce the internet traffic and increase the speed of internet. Then you talk about innovation, talk about smart cities, talk about aging society. Now, this is again, as I said, there are a lot of things which are available. Food revolution. Now, tell me one thing. It was a very popular study about how much food is actually available for people to eat, and it was seen that the agricultural efficiency of producing food is not that great. So now you will be surprised that there are companies which are working on increasing the efficiency of agricultural farms so that they can produce more. Now imagine how much food revolution that is going to bring. So that is also one area which you have to see. Future education. You have seen in India now with, tell me, with board exams getting postponed and with people not coming out, what is the future of education? What is the future of technology? The only holidays which I remember I used to get was in sometimes in July when it used to be too much rain and I wouldn't come out of my house, or sometimes in December when it was too foggy. I never heard the idea of, oh, you have to do online education, but now there are companies which are increasing there. So, future education, food revolution, genomic innovation, DNA sequencing, digital health, efficient energy, millennial, smart cities. you cannot even think how many megatrends are coming right now. We are completely unaware of this, right? So we have to prepare a portfolio where we can look into these kind of areas. Now, this is again something which you might hear now and which is new for you. But let me tell you, and there's a way to do it. So when I talk about battery-based cars, okay, electric batteries. Now, if I'm saying electric batteries, don't start investing into Tesla right away. When I say electric batteries, so there are different concepts which you can invest into. Those companies which are making packaging to carry those batteries, that is one business. Those companies which are creating battery chargers is also one industry which you can invest into. Those companies which will later on recycle these batteries are also one concept you can invest into. And then there is the actual technology with which the battery is made, which means lithium mining. So you can invest into lithium mining companies. So with one concept of battery in the basket of that particular battery, there are companies which are involved into battery packaging, which are into creating infrastructure for battery charging, battery recycling, and then the technology itself. And just like that, if I talk about, say, for example, uh, vehicle automation, for example. Vehicle automation is also one thing. So we are talking about parking apps, we are talking about parking sensors, we are talking about driverless cars, we are talking about 5G technology to make sure that the satellites are connected. So all of this, when we talk about smart mobility, so in smart mobility, we are talking about driverless cars. We are talking about Ubers. We are talking about lifts. We are talking about vehicle-to-vehicle communication. So there is a lot of there are a lot of concepts within one basket. Now I'm going to also take you through to the live platform to show you that how you can actually. So these were the mega trends which I was talking about: economic growth, demographic development, democratization, globalization, sustainability, commercialization, all these kind of technology development. So this is something which you can always look for mega trends, and the names which I just took are the ones where you can invest. But I'm going to show you how do you invest into this. Uh, Something called basket trading. Now, basket trading is directly related to the themes I talk about. The only thing is, if you have to invest into a theme, as I said, if you're investing into a battery basket, so you're not just investing into Teslas and automated, battery cars or battery car based companies. You're investing into even those companies which are packaging the battery, which are recycling the battery, which are creating battery charging infrastructures, those companies. So I'm going to show you those using the live platform. Now, this platform belongs to CMC Markets, and of course, you can choose your own platform, up to you, but this is the one which I'm using right now. So as you can see, this is the platform, and these are the share baskets. You go to your product library, and library has a lot of products: commodities, cryptos, currencies, ETFs, indices, and one of them is share baskets, and which is dedicated only towards thematic investing. Now, for your understanding, I have also kept a yearly in last 1 year. So if it is right now May 2021, so I'm talking about May 2020. Since May 2020 to May 2021, how these baskets have performed, and just look at all these themes. The very first basket is 5G. uh, Apple launched iPhone 12 on the foundation of that this is a 5G device. How much 5G technology do we actually have? How many towers you know over here which has 5G technology? It's a emerging, it's a developing concept. There are a lot of companies which are in the process of developing 5G as a technology. It's a billion-dollar technology. Huawei was banned because by US because somewhere US believed that China will be the first to develop the 5G technology, and Huawei played a very important role in it, and it was banned because it's a billion-dollar technology. Now, 5G basket, if you see, in last 1 year has gone up by 33%. Right here, there's a 1 year figure, and it's very easy to trade in these baskets because these baskets are like they have their components which are these companies, and the basket performs on the basis of how these companies perform. So if you see, every basket has a nominal price value, say $5,100. You can buy 1 unit of that basket, and if it goes to 5,200, you make $100. If it goes down $100, you lose $100. So you can use this for long-term investing. You can use it for day trading. You can use it for medium investing also. It's very easier to do that. And please ask me any questions if you face over here. Right now, I'm using the live platform at the moment. I hope everybody can see this. Second, automation and robotics. Now, automation and robotics, first of all, see the growth. Now, sometimes people ask and they say, um, I have a fund manager who is working towards my fund and he's creating 5%, 6% for me. First of all, there is no way that anybody can assure you returns in the market, right? Yes, active fund managers, they can always work towards rebalancing your portfolio. They can buy, sell whenever the time is right, and they can only try to achieve alpha. But still, there are, if you see the global statistics, the returns which active managers make as per the passive funds where you invest once and you don't do anything, we have seen that the passive funds have achieved more, like better returns, and active funds, irrespective of them charging higher for the constant active advice they do, they're not able to achieve alpha because you pay an active fund manager for something because you want to achieve higher return than the market. And if they are not able to achieve higher return than the market, then paying them is irrelevant. You might as well buy a AI basket which has generated 69% return in last 1 year, which means if you had bought 1 unit of that basket, your investment will be up by 69 or 70%, which is even higher than the benchmark. So the point I'm trying to make is there's a lot of attention towards these areas, and this is not the end of it. Of course, we talk about it in the next 5 years. Robotics and artificial intelligence. People are. There was a study which said that 60% of the students today, they feel that whatever they are studying today, the skills they are specialized in today, after 20 years, those skills will be obsolete and they will need to acquire more skills to survive. Imagine 60% of the students in the study will. Which means if you're a student and if you're learning something today, there's a fair chance that after 10, 15 years, your work will be done by a machine and you will be jobless. So you have to acquire a skill which you think is more futuristic, right? So again, AI and robotics is something which is which continues to increase over a period of time, and you can look into. Then there are baskets called big tech baskets, China tech baskets, which is specially prepared. We're looking at Chinese tech stocks, but again, not much of the theme based. If you see theme based, a basket called collaborative technology. Now, collaborative technology, what is collaborative technology? I'm talking about apps like Slack technology. I'm talking apps like Miro, like those apps which increase the efficiency of your daily task or your daily teams. Because when you are not in the office, like Microsoft Teams or Zoom technologies, what is it? These are the apps which increase the efficiency of your team. When there was lockdown and you weren't going to the office, what did you do? Zoom. Slack technologies, if one project requires X amount of team members and another project requires different team members, there is one technology, one app which can actually put you in different projects and you can track the progress of those projects and communicate with the team members using that app. Slack Technologies was acquired by Salesforce.com, which is a very big company, right? So this is collaborative technology basket. Cyber security solutions. Again, we have seen all these areas emerging during pandemics. So many people received, fraudulent messages about the suspicious use of credit cards, and that's why cybersecurity solutions is something which is it has gone up by 40% year to year. And if you see the next one, driverless cars, the basket has gone up by 107% in 1 year. 107% in 1 year. These are obviously not normal returns. Again, guys, these returns do not predict the future return of it. These are past returns. I'm just showing you that how in last 1 year these baskets have grown. Then there is a gaming basket. There is luxury lifestyle basket. Then there is mobile payment basket. Now, mobile payment basket is it's combined. They have comprises of those stocks: Mastercard, Visa, PayPal, Square Payment, all these kind of things. And then if we see remote lifestyle, up by 92% in last 1 year. Remote lifestyle. What is in remote lifestyle? Microsoft Teams, Zoom, all other platforms which you are using for remote communication. Even Amazon could be a very well part of this because this became a part of your remote lifestyle. Nobody went anywhere to for the groceries. You ordered. Then there is the most important renewable energy basket. Just look at this: 135% increase in last 1 year. Renewable energy basket. Then you see streaming basket, software as a service. So these are some very common themes which you can invest into. And again, not saying that this has to be done right away or all your savings have to be exhausted into one specific area. But now there is a time when you have to understand that the very portfolio composition, a traditional portfolio which comprised of growth stocks like Facebook, Tesla, Apple, Netflix, Google, also comprised of value stocks like ExxonMobil, Chevron, Coca-Cola, and then there was core or a mixture of some growth stocks or those companies which are sometimes growth, sometimes value. This was a traditional portfolio. Now, when we see a modern portfolio, there is a more focused approach where there are some growth stocks. Now, that growth area, which had Facebooks and Teslas and Alphabets and everything, that growth area is divided into and has been shrunk from this side to growth stocks and the remaining half thematic. So rather than exposing yourself too much to the technology and growth, you can divide that exposure from some to technology and growth, but other to the mega trends like water distribution companies, solar conductors, semiconductors, renewable energy, clean energy, like that. And then value stocks, which provide you dividend and less volatility, followed by core satellite, which means those companies which are a mixture of growth and value. So this is what is going on at the moment, and this is what a modern portfolio would like. We here at Century Financial, with the help of the financial consultants, can suggest you, few companies which you can look into, and similarly, you can buy, sell, you can do long-term investing, anything which you like to do. Now, coming forward, so as I said, you can easily trade into these kind of baskets, and followed by now we understood different themes. One thing, if I'm talking about mega trends and if I don't talk about cryptos, it's kind of incomplete. Even we know that the status of crypto is highly suspicious. It may or may not be a very, a mega trend. But one trend which continues to go on, it is not the cryptocurrency as a Bitcoin. It is blockchain. Blockchain is the very essence of what is going to be the next internet, I should say. Cryptocurrency is just a product of blockchain. Imagine me telling you that buy Cisco because internet exists. It's completely pointless, right? You will buy Cisco only because you will see the fundamentals or you will see whether the revenue is there or not. But you will not buy every internet-based company because internet exists. I think that's what led to the dot-com bubble back in 1999 and 2000, right? Anything connected to internet is not a good investment, but internet as a technology is a good investment. So my point is, yes, we have seen emergence of crypto era. We have seen Bitcoin prices, especially after. What is the difference between the rally in Bitcoin which happened in 2017 and what happened in 2020? In 2017, a lot of retail investors, they started buying, but that rally died out really soon, and we saw prices coming down. But in 2020, the institutions, the big scale institutions, started buying bitcoins. Elon Musk came forward and said that Tesla had bought $1.5 billion worth of Bitcoin. PayPal said that they will be accepting Bitcoins as a digital form of payment. We saw Square Payment Inc. We saw Mass Mutual purchases from. We saw the insurance firm which is called Mass Mutual. They purchased $100 million in Bitcoin. So this time the rally which pushed Bitcoin from 20,000 to 60,000 was because the institution started entering, and which actually increased the trust on the cryptocurrencies. But the fact is still the very same, that whether or not cryptocurrency is going to be a mega trend. So how much should I focus on that? I personally feel, and if I were to look into that as a trend, I would feel, and this is something I have for you, to diversify your risk, because that is the most important essence of when you're investing. You always have to diversify. Now, I have shown you something called a ETF. Again, it's like a fund where you're investing into a theme which has different companies, right? Now, there are a lot of blockchain ETFs which have of lately emerged, and you can see that there are four ETFs which we took out. And if you see the very feature of it, the first company, which is called Amplified Transformational Data Sharing ETF. Now, this is a fund which is investing in those companies that are engaged into the designing and development of the transformation data sharing technologies. So, if you see crypto miners or equipment makers, these kind of companies like MicroStrategy company or blockchain, Canonic, this is a company which is constantly focusing on designing the data sharing technologies, including crypto mining makers also. Moving on to a second ETF, which is Realty Shares. Again, those companies which are dedicated to developing blockchain technology, but this time crypto development, which means these are those companies which are actually working towards the crypto development, right? So again, if you want focus on this, then yes or no. But these have companies like Square Payment or Baidu also. Then, so these two companies, they are the first two companies which you see are focused on the development of blockchain technology and crypto development together. Last two companies which you are seeing, last two funds which you are seeing, are solely dedicated towards the tracking the performance of a Bitcoin index. The last one is solely focused on tracking the performance of the Ethereum index. Not Ethereum as a direct currency, but there's an index which is tracking the performance of Ethereum, and then to perform tracking that Ethereum index is the ETF which is available. So this way, what happens is you're not directly exposed to the cryptocurrency, and the volatility, which is the fluctuation in the prices, are very less when you start investing into an ETF. Similarly, if you see you want to create a crypto basket of your own, you can very easily do that. But make sure that you're, again, it depends on your risk, how you want to tweak the composition of this. But in a basket, you can have exposure to cryptos like Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, Cardano, Neo. And apart, if you are not, and again, the composition in these cryptocurrencies you can tweak according to your risk appetite. And this is just one part of the basket. The second part of the basket should have companies like PayPal, Square, and Tesla, which have been promoting Bitcoins on institutional level. And then last part of this basket should have companies like Riot Blockchain and Marathon Digital Holdings. Now, these companies, I'll tell you a bit about these companies, because these are the ones which are away from normally the crypto exposure. If you see, Marathon is, again, it is one of the Bitcoin mining companies. So as of now, if you're not interested into investing into Bitcoin as a cryptocurrency, you can invest into a company which is involved into the mining of Bitcoin. And then Riot Blockchain Inc. Again, focus on mining, a bit volatile stock, and this is kind of very closely correlated with the Bitcoin prices. So again, you have to tweak your exposure into this basket. And as I said, if the basket looks more aggressive to you, you can always switch to the blockchain ETF and invest into this through some funds, right? So that is again something which I wanted to talk about. At this moment, I think if you have any questions, I would like to uh, take questions unless, if not. Okay, I see a lot of questions coming in. Please go ahead and ask. I'm sure you must be having a lot of questions regarding how much it has gone up or down and everything, and we can always look at it. See, just to tell you, it's very easy to invest in these things. As I said, even if you open a trading account, you can invest into these things through a share basket, and it's not necessary that you have to trade every day. You can just buy long term and keep it. So it is that easy to do it. Okay, I have a getting a question. Can we use a simulation? Yes, I think what you mean is the demo account. You can. So there are demo accounts available. After the session is over, you can talk to your relationship managers, and they can definitely provide you a demo account. And once you receive the demo account, if you need a one-on-one session with me, I can definitely set one-on-one and can explain you how to buy, sell in the live market and how to invest into these specific themes also. Second question is, okay, how much time it takes for the live account? So live account is very easy. It takes 2 days to open the live account. You just have to submit necessary documents. Again, you can just fill the form online and it will be done. I'll make sure that you receive a call from your relationship manager and they will guide you towards how to open the live account also. Okay, one more thing. Okay, and this is again one of the interesting questions, that if clean energy is the future, then why renewable stocks are selling off right now? Now, this is a very, very good question and very good observation, because even if you see the renewable basket in last 1 year, it has gone up by 130%. But if we see in last 2 or 3 months, the prices have corrected from the lows. And 2021 has been a kind of, since the very beginning of the year, we have seen renewables coming down a bit. Now, I know that I'm talking about a long-term and futuristic investment, so it doesn't really matter, but just because the question is being asked, there are a few criteria. 2020 was the year where interest rates were at record low. Central banks were very focused on keeping interest rates down. And when the year started ending, the inflation started rising a bit. So there was concern towards whether the interest rates will start going higher. Now, Fed has again promised that the interest rates are going to be low, but that news has come now. So we have seen renewables getting back where they were. But in the beginning of 2021, there was a very normal thinking that interest might start going higher, because if interest rates go up, then debt becomes more expensive, which makes a company harder to grow. So that is one thing. Then followed by the expectation of the earnings. In 2020, from renewables, anyways, the expectation was low to moderate growth. So they outperformed. But in 2021, where the lockdown was over, it was expected that the growth may return, may not return to pre-pandemic levels. And that is something which is there, because 2021 now, the expectation from all the companies is normal. So there was a possibility that, during recession, you always look to the companies with a very low expectation. But then when economic expansion starts, which is happening in the US right now, higher growth is expected, and which was not shown by renewables. So that's why there was a momentary low which we saw. And look at oil and gas prices. In 2020, oil went negative. So obviously the oil and gas prices were down. In 2021, if you see oil in 2020 March, it was negative. And in 2021, it is $60 per barrel. So definitely, oil and gas companies have quickly went from out of favor to in favor, and it weakened the case for the renewable energy in the shorter term. Okay, and then you look at the competition. Of course, in 2020, a lot of people, they got divested from fossil fuels and they put money into renewables. And now, perhaps at this point of time in 2021, the competition has increased way higher. So supply is saturated, and that has lower profit margins. Because now, tell me, 5 years ago, nobody talked about a clean energy car, but there were clean energy cars, right? Tesla did not have much competition before, but now it has. So that reduces the profit margins for a lot of companies. So that's why competition increases. And yes, this is something which that is also one of the reasons that why stock prices have come down. And then there is one more area you can think about: valuations. The investor optimism about clean energy in 2020 was way higher. Now maybe they are concerned about that maybe it's overvalued, so they start selling it. But that is again, guys, this is something, if you're talking about futuristic investments, then you should not focus on this part. Um, Again, there's a question. Can you please share the instructions to use the platform for beginners? I can. In fact, see, what I can do is I can conduct a one-on-one session specially for you. So let me tell to your relationship manager to give you a demo account and let's have a training session one-on-one, so I can explain it to you how you can buy, sell, use the product library, and make the most efficient use of the platform. Another question: which product will have less risk involved? Uh, Definitely not a Bitcoin. So cryptocurrencies are high risk assets. If you have money which you need for your child's education, or you need at a limited period of time, you should not invest in any cryptocurrency, no matter what is the value of that cryptocurrency, right? You can always invest into value stocks. So value stocks are those companies which gives you a fixed dividend quarter on quarter, and they are not very fluctuating. Take example of Coca-Cola or Verizon or Vodafone for that matter. These companies, they will not fluctuate too much. I mean, I'm putting pandemic as an exception because all markets crashed in pandemic and then went high all the time. So I do not consider returns and risk what we saw in pandemic. But otherwise, if you see, there are a lot of companies which have a history of increasing their dividends over 20-25 years. And ExxonMobil is one of those companies. Chevron is one of those companies. So I would suggest the portfolio which you have, and if you want less risk, you should be focused more towards value stocks. Companies which are called defensive stocks. Even if there's a recession, you will still drink a Coca-Cola, or you will still buy toothpaste and brush. So you invest into those companies. That being said, you can always tweak the risk exposure a bit by investing into the growth stocks on the likes of Amazons and Teslas. But then don't increase your exposure too much, because the way they go higher, they come down also. So you have to be very careful. But obviously, in last 5 years, the growth stocks have shown phenomenal growth. And when I say growth stocks, I'm talking about Netflix, Microsoft, Teslas, and Alphabets, and Google, and IBM, or these kind of companies. So yes, I mean, you can always construct a portfolio with a mixture of both. And the least risk, what we talk about as compared to stocks, value, and growth, are bonds. If you invest in bonds of US government at the moment, because yields are low, uh, right now it may not be a very profitable thing, but then over the next years, if you're investing into a 10-year treasury note or something like that, then interest rates play a very important role. But then you have to be very careful, because we soon will be stepping into the era of high interest rates, which reduces the total return on your bond investments. So, yeah, I mean, I would really be interested to know how old you are, because there is a certain thing called 100 minus age. Like if I am a 30-year-old guy, 100 minus 30, 70. So I am capable of putting my 70% of risk into stocks. Because tomorrow, if my capital depreciates or I make a loss, then I have enough time to work and build that wealth again for me. But if you are a 70-year-old or 75-year-old, then you should not be investing into stocks. You should be more dedicated towards bonds, because if you are retired or you don't have a source of income, then it will be a complete disaster. So yeah, I mean, if you are around say 40 or 50 years old, I'm talking about 50%. So safer side, 40% of your investments can be into stocks. 60% of your investments can be into value funds, or something related to bond funds. You can also invest into bond funds. There are a lot of bond ETFs also. And again, it depends a lot on your risk appetite. I know a lot of 70 years old, 50 years old, 60 years old, they would want to trade and speculate. So your risk appetite again is of key importance. So we can always have one-on-one session. We will be able to create a portfolio for you, show you all the avenues of investments: day trading, short term, medium term, long term. What are the risks involved? What has been the reward in the past? What is the expectation in the future? And how an instrument like gold, for example, gold prices move $20-25 in a day, which means if you buy 10 ounces of gold today, you have a chance of making either a $250 profit or a $250 loss. So with that kind of a approach, we can always think about that how an instrument moves at what range, and it is something very easy. It's not rocket science, definitely. A lot of my clients, they understand these sessions, and they start trading demo. They start keeping a check on the prices, and soon you know that you're already able to assess whether to buy or sell with the help of a market consultant. So it's really not that difficult. Today we learn about a lot of new investment themes, which perhaps we have heard a lot, but then perhaps how to invest into it and what is the right time, what is the right area, how much they have performance shown in the last years, we never knew before. So we learned something good today, and I'm sure this is something which you can take forward or discuss with your financial experts, and then or come to us and we'll guide you towards it once again. So thank you so much. Before I leave, a big word of thanks on behalf of my team at Century Financial, myself, and my families also to those people who are working in healthcare, are healthcare professionals, or midwives, or emergency volunteers, or if you have your friends and families who are doing the same job. A big word of thanks from my end and from my team. Pandemic is not a happy situation for either one of us, and we are facing a very big threat to the humanity. And I would strongly be very thankful to all of you who are into this healthcare sector and risking your lives day in day out for us. Um, I really wish a very good health to you and your families. Please stay home, stay safe, wear your mask, and be very careful. But stay invested. Don't don't worry about investments. You still need to stay invested, right? So once again, thank you so much. I hope to see you in one-on-one sessions. And it's 4 p.m. It's time to go. Ramadan Kareem to all of you. We'll definitely connect once again. And if we not, then Eid Mubarak till the next week. My name is Yogesh. Thank you once again. We'll come with another session in the coming weeks and hope to see all of you soon.